ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरू श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्. Okay, uh, maybe I'll sing a small bhajan uh, just before we begin. जय राधा माधवा जयो कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जयो कुञ्ज बिहारी गोपीजनवल्लभा जयो गिरिवरधारी जयो गिरिवरधारी गोपीजनवल्लभा जयो गिरिवरधारी जयो गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दना जयो व्रजजनरञ्जना जयो व्रजजनरञ्जना यमुनतिरावनचारी जयो कुञ्ज बिहारी यमुनतिरावनचारी जयो कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जयो कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जयो कुञ्ज बिहारी. Okay, so we are continuing our discussion on holy name. We were discussing three stages of chanting. There is Nam Aparad, there is Nam Abhas, and there is Shuddha Nam. Nam aparad when we are chanting, but we are not aware of the offenses, and because we are not aware of the offenses, we are not trying to avoid the offenses. And during the stage of Nam aparad, now Nam, just like Krishna is a personality, Nam is also considered as a personality, and that's why sometimes we call the holy names as Nam Prabhu, just like we call somebody as Srinivas Prabhu, like that. So we call him Nam Prabhu, and um, uh, just like if if we do something that the devotee doesn't like, so the devotee may feel bad about it. So likewise, there are offenses. So we hear about what this Prabhu doesn't like. So because Nam Prabhu is Bhinna Nama Nanit, Bhinna Nama Namitvam, Abhinna. So he is non-different from Krishna. He has all the potencies of Krishna: Haladini Shakti, internal potency, knowledge potency, um, mm, existential potency, which is the Dham potency. All the potencies, I mean, the holy name gives realizations, gives knowledge, gives internal potency, which is bliss, and gives the understanding about the Dham, about Vrindavan, gives attachment to the holy Dham. So everything is contained within the Nam Prabhu, but we 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 want to take shelter of Nam Prabhu, but at the same time we don't want to offend Nam Prabhu, and that's why Nam Abhas is when we are aware of the 10 offenses and we are carefully trying to avoid those 10 offenses. So we are continuing our discussion on the 10 offenses. We discussed one offense, which is Sadhu Ninda, and Sadhu Ninda includes um, sadhus. Uh, um, Prabhupada emphasized on um, yeah, it includes sadhus, all varieties of devotees, and also other living entities uh, who may not be devotees. Basically, you can generalize it as ninda when we displease someone. Um, so Vaishnav becomes very careful in his dealings. Um, um, okay, when these aparats happens, any one of the 10 offenses, then we although we do the chanting of the holy name, we don't experience absorption, we lack absorption. And it is actually the holy name we all have experienced at some point of time. When we are absorbed in the holy name in our minimum rounds that we do, our whole day feels very nourished. Whatever we do becomes nourishing. Our hearing Krishna katha becomes nourishing. Our if we are doing arati at home, that becomes nourishing. If we are making an offering, that becomes nourishing. If we are cooking for Krishna, that becomes nourishing. Our association of devotees, everything becomes nourishing. But if we don't experience absorption in Nam Prabhu, in the holy name, then everything feels there is a constant emptiness that follows in the heart. Even while doing arati, or while dressing, or while cooking, or while hearing, we don't connect anywhere. Even if we are hearing, we feel like I don't want to hear. If we are reading, we feel like I don't like reading these days. So our entire devotional service depends upon actually our experience with the holy name. That's why among among everything, devotees most devotees are very careful about these 10 offenses. So there is three kind of devotees. There is Kanishta Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari, and Madhyama Adhikari, or you can call Kanishta Madhyama Uttama. Kanishta means a beginner devotee, Madhya means medium, and Uttama means an advanced devotee. Uh, the importance of associating with devotee, Krishna personally appears in the heart of pure Vaishnava, together with bhakti, devotion, haladini, and sambit potency. So we discuss haladini shakti is pleasure giving potency. Like haladini potency is haladini shakti is a shakti of Krishna. Now one may think in Krishna's association, everybody enjoys. Like when we chant Krishna's name, so we feel some nourishment in chanting Krishna's name. But where does Krishna enjoy? We by hearing the name of Krishna, the whole world becomes joyful. There is Arjuna says to Krishna like that in Bhagavad Gita. By hearing your name, everybody becomes joyful. In 11th chapter we were reading today, everybody becomes joyful, and and hence everybody becomes attached to you. So everybody enjoys, becomes joyful by coming in contact with Krishna, by thinking of Krishna. But how does Krishna gets his own enjoyment? He is called Atmaram. Why? Because he gets his enjoyment within himself. Within himself, there, he gets his enjoyment from his own energy. We cannot get enjoyment from our own energy because we have no energy. We get enjoyment from Krishna's pleasure potency. So Krishna has his own potency, which is Haladini Shakti. That's it's his own energy that gives pleasure to Krishna, and that pleasure potency manifest in the form of Srimati Radharani. So Krishna enjoys between himself and his association with her own consort, which is her own Shakti, Haladani Shakti. Um, um, when we chant the holy name, hear Hari Katha, any devotional service, not every time, but whenever we feel some pleasure, we are actually associating with Haladini Shakti, which is actually Shrimati Radharani, um, um, pleasure giving potency. Um, Krishna personally appears in the heart of a pure Vaishnav together with Bhakti, Haladini, and Samvit. Samvit is knowledge giving potency. By associating with such a pure Vaishnav, one receives this Bhakti. So, when we associate with uh, pure devotees, whatever devotion that devotee has, by associating with them, that devotion is transferred to us. They have Haladini Shakti, pleasure potency. So, by associating with devotees, we feel that pleasure within us, the spiritual pleasure we feel within us because they have it. Um, then, Samvit potency is their knowledge, whatever revelations they have. They, we get those revelations also. We get that faith, and whatever bhakti they have, we get that. So that's why it is described that um, associating with devotees is very important, because that nourishes the heart. Why that nourishes the heart? Because pure devotees carry this pleasure potency and this knowledge potency within them. And that's where we see when Srila Prabhupada came, by his association, although those people were kind of very steeped in sense gratification, by association of Srila Prabhupada, they could experience Haladini Shakti. And Haladini experience of Haladini Shakti is way higher than any other pleasure any of them had ever experienced by all forms of sense gratification. And that enforces them that, well, this is the best thing, so let us absorb here. Three objects help us to attain bhakti. One is food remnants, one is water that has washed his lotus feet, and one is the dust of his lotus feet. We have heard this Bhakti Pada Duliyara Bhakti Pada Jal, Bhakta Mukha Avasisha Tino Mahabal. um, um, because these things carry, like when we eat the remnants of pure devotees, should not eat remnants of anyone, but especially when we eat the remnants of pure devotees, or when we touch their feet, we take the dust from those pure devotees. This is a common culture in India, is touching the feet. Although in ISKCON we don't encourage, and we will see why. So their dust is very powerful, or water that has washed their feet, because that water carries the dust of their feet. So this dust and their remnants is very powerful, because um, anything that comes in touch with these pure devotees is also imbued with the same haladini potency and knowledge potency. And when we take that onto us, it gives us realizations and it nourishes our heart. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, have faith in these three things. They have the potency to increase our devotion. Um, but one should not, usually we don't touch the feet, other than like spiritual master himself allows, or something like that. We don't touch feet, because when we touch somebody's feet, we transfer our karma to them. And Srila Prabhupada said, if you allow somebody to touch your feet, then their karma will come to you, and you may have to go through some health issues, just if you allow somebody to touch your feet. That's why we don't touch anyone's feet, neither we touch the feet of our parents. Rather we bow down, because the intention is, um, bowing down, namaskar, is a symptom of offering respect. But we don't touch their feet, because we don't want them to suffer for our karma. By touching feet, the karma is transferred. Okay, okay. Now, um, three kinds of Vaishnav: Kanishta Vaishnav, Madhyama Vaishnav, Uttama Vaishnav. Kanishta Vaishnav, faith is formal and meager. So Kanishta Vaishnav um, uh, faith is not so strong. His faith is not pure. Um, he has some faith which has come by association of devotees and through Vedic scriptures, um, but he sometimes gives more importance to his own mind also in front of the faith. Sometimes he may end up in criticizing devotees, criticizing Radha and Krishna, criticizing Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. So his faith is formal and meager. And sometimes, if he is away from association, or he may go away also at some point of time. So his faith is meager, and very formal. He worships the deities. Um, he has, I mean, this worship of deities is not temple deities, but he has an altar in home, because worship of temple deities uh, happens only after a certain stage. He worships the deities. he, he has not developed an interest in serving a sadhu. He does not see a point why serve devotees. He does not see a point. Um, but he directly wants to serve Krishna. He know how to deal with, he he likes to deal with Krishna. He has affection for Krishna, but he does not have affection for Krishna's devotee. So he has not developed an interest. Um, a neophyte will have to receive a pure devotee's blessing to advance in Krishna consciousness. Um, a neophyte devotee, um, 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 yeah, he commits all these offenses, actually all the 10 offenses. And when a pure devotee prays for him, he receive Krishna's mercy through the medium of pure devotees, and that grows his faith. That mercy grows his faith. And when he performs sadhana for long time, um, um, he get initiated, and slowly his faith matures. um, Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama, Shraddha, Anusari. These three level of devotees is all based on faith. What is the difference between a neophyte devotee and a very advanced devotee? Faith. Faith. Uh, Madhyama Vaishnav develops loving affection for Lord Krishna, friendship with Lord's devotees. Now he is eager for devotee association. He wants to associate only with devotees. He doesn't want to associate with anyone else. Well, he will associate but not associate. Association means he will take inspiration, he will discuss, reveal his heart. This is association. He will invite them for prasadam in their home. Yeah, reveal his mind to them. So that is called association. um, um, that he does, he take association only with devotees. In the beginning, we have seen, um, um, mm, yeah, in the beginning people are not, um, Kanishta Adhikaris, they are not very careful whom they're associating with. For them, associating with devotees is another thing, it's a nice thing to do. But for Madhyama Adhikari, they don't want to associate with anybody other than um, devotees, because their faith has developed. Their faith has developed. They are compassionate on the innocent. So um, they, yeah, they, anybody they see, they want to give them Krishna, because their faith has developed. Till one comes to Madhyama Vaishnav, one should not share Krishna with others, because if we are not on Madhyama level and we share Krishna with others, then others' faith in material life can influence the Kanishta Vaishnava. So Kanishta Vaishnava is supposed to protect his own devotion, not sharing with others. Because if somebody says to Kanishta Vaishnava, "क्या हो गया पागल हो गए तुम लोग?" then Kanishta Vaishnava will think, "Yeah, what am I doing? These people are right." So, but a Madhyam Vaishnava, he can uh, share Krishna with others because his faith is stabilized. um, he awaits the company of atheists. If a Madhyam Vaishnava sees somebody is not interested in Krishna, then he maintains distance. He does not associate with them. Um, he quickly becomes a pure devotee. He alone becomes eligible to chant the pure name. So this devotee has, because his faith has grown, he can chant with more absorption. With more absorption. Mm. And what are his activities? His activities, he is always engaged in serving as sadhus, so he likes to serve devotees. A Kanishta Vaishnav, he's like, what is the need? Why? That's okay, I don't need. But a Madhyam Vaishnav, he understands the importance of association and serving the devotees. He serves under guidance of devotees. His stage marks the beginning of pure Vaishnavism. He's now dedicated. His um, his goal is clear. Goal is Krishna, so he shows loving affection to Krishna. He is very respectful towards devotees. He serve under guidance of devotees. His he does not associate with atheist and other. Anybody he sees, he thinks how to give them Krishna, how to help them in their own Krishna consciousness. He is fixed. His goal is clear. He does not do anything which is not favorable for his Krishna consciousness. His concepts are clear. What will enhance my bhakti? What will not enhance my bhakti? But sometimes he make mistakes also. But he does not deviate from his own Krishna consciousness. And more discussion on these three kinds of Vaishnav will be covered in the seminar on Nectar of Instruction, the 11 instructions from beginning to stage of perfection. 11 instructions. So we will see in that. Most likely after this we will start. Then he distinguishes Vaishnav from a non-Vaishnav. He understands this is a Vaishnav, this is a non-Vaishnav. He distinguishes. Non-Vaishnav means those who are basically envious of Krishna, atheistic. He does not like to stay around them. Um, He serving pure devotee is his necessity. If he serves pure devotees, he will make further advancement. Then Uttam Vaishnav, pure devotee of the highest level, um, he sees Lord Krishna manifest everywhere. So he sees Krishna everywhere. A Madhyama Vaishnav does not see Krishna everywhere. He distinguishes. He distinguishes. He sees that this is a devotee, this is an atheist or envious person. So he does not see Krishna everywhere. It is said that a pure devotee, Uttama Vaishnav, cannot preach because he does not distinguish. He sees Krishna everywhere. He sees everybody is a pure devotee of Krishna. He sees spirit soul in every living entity. He is beyond the bodily conception. And he thinks everyone is better than him. So Uttama Vaishnav cannot preach. So Srila Prabhupada, so devotees come from Uttama platform um, to a Madhyama platform, not like they fall down, but they purposefully take the vision of a Madhyama Vaishnav, although their status remains Uttama, in order to preach. Because for preaching, you need to distinguish. So he sees Krishna manifest everywhere. He knows that everything rests in Krishna. Um, Lord Krishna is his life and soul, unconcerned with distinctions of who is a Vaishnava and who is not. His life revolves around the holy name. Holy name is the essence of everything for him. Um, he's a pure devotee. He has no material desire and he has fully realized Krishna. So these definitions is not complete. More we will see nectar of instruction, but just to give us an understanding that there are three kinds of Vaishnavas. Madhyama is medium, life dedicated, but he has anarthas. Like those who remember the 9 stages of devotion, beginning with Shraddha, a simple faith. Once Shraddha, uh, with Shraddha brings one to Sadhu Sangha, so he associates with devotees. Then he starts Bhajana Kriya. After associating, he starts Bhajan. And after Bhajan, he performs Anartha Nivriti. Anarthas are removed. So up till Anartha Nivriti, he is a Kanistha Vaishnava. Till Anarthas are there, he is a Kanistha Vaishnava. Then after comes Nishtha. Nishtha Ruchi. He's a Madhyam Vaishnava. So he has he is himself. Nishtha means now he's fixed in devotional service. Nishtha means steady, and he has taste in the holy name. Ruchi. So he's a Madhyam Vaishnav. And then Ashakti. Ashakti, Bhava and Prema. One who is completely attached to Krishna. Completely attached to Krishna. Ashakti, Bhava and Prema. They come under Uttama Vaishnav, Uttama Adhikari.
Prabhuji, I was having one question. May I ask?
Yes, 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 anytime.
Prabhuji, you told like Uttama Vaishnav needs to come to the level of Madhyama Vaishnava, right? In order to preach.
Each.
So why that fall down is required? Means not exactly fall down as you told. Why they
Why?
need to come at this level? They can share their experience at that level also.
Yeah. So Prabhuji, they still remain at Bhava and Prema, but then Madhyamadikari sees that this person is not advanced in Krishna consciousness, so I need to assist him in his Krishna consciousness. This person is very advanced, so I must associate with him. This person is Madhyama, so I must allow him to serve. I must engage him in more service. And this person has no faith, so I should talk him about the basics of Krishna consciousness. So he distinguishes. Madhyama Vaishnav distinguishes how to deal with whom. A Uttama Adhikari sees everybody as pure souls. He does not see fault in anyone. He sees everyone is serving Krishna. This vision, it takes one to know one. We cannot understand this vision because we are not seeing Krishna everywhere. That person sees Krishna everywhere. Everywhere he sees Krishna. It's a very advanced platform because he has developed such bhava and prema for Krishna, he cannot understand anything other than Krishna. So that person is kind of um, he comes because to preach you need to distinguish. So he remains in his highest position, but because he distinguishes, that's an activity of Madhyama. And that's why it is said that he comes to a level of Madhyama to preach. Is it okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Our devotees' activities should center around association with sadhus, service to sadhus, chanting of the holy names, a constant attitude of compassion for all living entities. So, this is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told us. He said these three things should be done. He said Namaruchi, Jivadaya, Vaishnav Seva. He said if you want to progress in your spiritual life, do if you have these three things, if you act on these three things, perform these three things every single day, then your devotion will grow very fast. What are those? Namaruchi. First, develop taste in holy names. Namaruchi. How to develop taste in holy names? Very simple. Just avoid these 10 offenses. Just avoid these 10 offenses, and by doing the other two. If you avoid the 10 offenses and then um, if you do Vaishnav Seva, so Namaruchi Vaishnav Seva Jivadaya. Vaishnav Seva means you serve the devotees, you please the devotees. That way you receive their blessings. Be respectful, whatever service they ask, we can perform them. If we get a chance of some personal service, we can render. If we just desire to serve devotees, Krishna will help us serve devotees. It all starts with a desire, just a desire. Because the devotees will engage us in service if they're inspired from within, um, from Krishna setting in their heart, and they will be inspired to give service to those who have a desire for service. Actually, service is a privilege. One should never say no to a service. Whenever service comes, one should know that Radharani is giving me an opportunity to serve her. How can I probably say no to a service? This is, I mean, imagine Radharani comes to you and say, Prabhu, can you cook for me? Who has guts to say no, I cannot cook for you? Who has guts to say, can you dress me? Can you do arti to me? Can you feed me? Who has guts to say no? Um, can you clean my room? Who has guts to say no? So, temple is Radharani's room, her home, Radharani's home. Um, these pots are Radharani's pots. This kitchen is Radharani's kitchen. Who has guts to say no? Only a devotee who is blind will say, Prabhu, I am too busy. Prabhu, what are you busy with? I am busy with my sense gratification, of course. Can you serve Radharani? No. So Radharani feels bad. She feels, oh, this devotee doesn't want to serve me. Uh, so um, if you have a desire, if a service comes to you, you should know that Radharani has inspired that devotee to ask me to serve because she wants, she is allowing me to serve. I mean, what an opportunity that Radharani thought about me, that I can do service. How can I say no? And this vision itself comes by the mercy of Radharani, that one service comes, we can see the hands of Radharani in that. Well, she is allowing me to serve. She is giving me a chance to develop attachment to her. How can I say no to her service? How can I say no? um, and this consciousness will really help you advance. But inside your heart, if you feel, no, no, I don't want to serve, then Radharani knows that this devotee does not have desire to serve. Then nobody will ask you. Nobody will ask you for seva. Why? They're not inspired. They're not inspired within their heart. They don't have confidence that you will actually accept the service. Because if If devotees ask somebody to serve and then others say, no, I cannot serve, then devotees also feel bad. Ki, oh, why did I ask? And second thing that happens is they think in their mind, well, I should not ask this person again because he does not have eagerness. Service is a privilege. Service comes to those who who are chosen by Radharani. They get the opportunity to serve, to do, to render seva. If devotees ask us to serve, if we accept, we are expressing that uh, Radharani wants me to cook for her. I will give up everything. I have a program. I'll cancel it. Uh, um, I have to go somewhere. I will drop my plan. I have to go to India. I will drop my trip. What I have to do, I will drop everything, because the purpose of life is to serve her. And um, if I um, if 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 she asks me to serve her, if I'm not available, what is the point? All I'm learning in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam is to render devotional service. She herself is coming. She is not going to come to us directly in front of us and say, Prabhu, can you serve me? She will come through devotees. And devotees, when we say Vaishnav Seva, um, Vaishnavas never ask anyone for personal service. They will not ask you, come and clean their room or do any service to them. They never take service from anyone. Um, Rather, a Vaishnava is one who is always eager to serve. They are not eager to accept service from anyone. Uh, but Vaishnav Seva simply means all Vaishnav does is, Prabhu, can you do this service to Radha Gopijan Vallabha? That's all. They engages in Krishna service. That's all. And they themselves also engage in Krishna service. So, um, service to sadhus. If you get a chance to personally serve a sadhu, you should give up everything and run for that opportunity, because service to sadhu pleases the sadhus. When sadhus are pleased, they think in their heart, wow, this devotee is so nice. I am so grateful to this devotee. He has brought some prasadam for me. He has uh, he has done this for me. If at all, usually it's very rare to get a chance to render personal service to sadhu. It's rare, but if you get a chance, do not miss an opportunity. You should see, maybe this is the only opportunity I have in my life. I don't know when I will get another opportunity again. So if you get that opportunity, run for that opportunity. In India, there is a culture actually. People take some shawls and some cloths and give to sadhus. Such a beautiful country. This is the culture is like that in our India. So service to sadhus. The moment the devotee feel, I am so grateful to this devotee, immediately Haladini Shakti, which is present in the heart of a Vaishnava, is transferred to the heart of that devotee who rendered service. And that devotee in his heart will feel lot of devotion. He will feel so satisfied and so nourished. So devotees who serve, they're always nourished compared to those who only accept service. Devotees means to render seva. So Nam Ruchi comes by Vaishnav seva and Jivadaya. Jivdaya means, now Jivdaya is very crucial for us to go to deeper level of devotion. Very crucial. Why? Because suppose you see, I mean, take example like this. Um, Suppose you know how to do kirtan. Suppose you know how to play mirdanga, you know how to do kirtan, and you go on the street and you chant the holy names, and somebody passes by and they hear the holy names, their heart will be nourished. Everybody who hears the holy name, their heart will be nourished, and they feel joy in their heart. When a living entity feels joy in their heart, that joy that joy comes to you through Haladini Shakti, comes back to you. And then um, if you give holy name to others, preaching means giving holy name, that's all. um, Preaching means giving holy name to others. Prabhupada said you can take the holy name right now, or you can hear the entire philosophy, understand everything, and then take the holy name. Ultimately, the conclusion is someone taking the holy name. That's all. Um, so when you act on Jivadaya, when you give Krishna to others, they become very grateful. Especially when they experience Krishna, their life starts to transform. Um, and all that blessings, that mercy, and that joy and that nourishment that they receive, it will come back to you. And if you do lot of Jivadaya, if you do lot of if you give Krishna to as many people as you can, it will really enhance your devotion. Jeev Daya, not necessarily that you have to give lectures only. Well, that's a part of it, but you can simply connect somebody to Krishna in some way or the other. You can go out and do some Nam Sankirtan. That's how Prabhupada engaged his disciples in the beginning stages of Krishna consciousness. Anybody who comes to Krishna consciousness, now they need an engagement. Go on the street and do Nam Sankirtan. So when they do Nam Sankirtan on the street, because it's Nam Sankirtan, their heart is nourished, and because so many people heart are nourished by their being an instrument, their heart is further nourished, and so they are developing Nam Ruchi, and they are expressing Jivadaya, and because this is what Srila Prabhupada wanted, that's a Vaishnava Seva also, and their taste in holy name grew. So they grow at a much faster pace in a way, especially in beginning days. So these three things, if we focus our life on these three things, I want to serve the Vaishnavas, I want to show compassion to all living entities in whichever capacity I can, and I want to develop Namaruchi. The goal should become, at this stage, our goal should become, I want to develop Namaruchi. Ruchi means taste. I want to develop taste in chanting the holy names. Um, then, um, then your progress will be very steady, very steady. See, think in your life. Am I doing Vaishnav Seva? Am I serving sadhus? Think about it. Then think about it. Am I doing any kind of Jeev Daya? Am I showing compassion to other living entities? Am I giving Krishna in any possible way? Then think about it. Do I have Nam Ruchi? If the answer to all these three is no, then work on it. If the answer to one of them is no, work on that aspect. Two of them is no, work on that aspect. Work on them. And that will make your devotional service, your Krishna consciousness very steady. So a devotee's activities should center around these things. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, we should pray to Krishna, my Lord, give me Vaishnav Seva, give me Jivadaya, and give me Namaruchi. And that will be very healthy. So a constant attitude of compassion for all living entities, chanting of the holy name, service to sadhus and association of sadhus. So Vaishnava Seva is divided into two: service to sadhus and association of sadhus. Actually, association of sadhus is also a, a Vaishnava Seva. A Vaishnava Seva. Actually, when you hear from pure devotees, when when pure devotees see you hearing from them, they are pleased by that simple act of they are showing interest in hearing about Krishna. That also becomes a Vaishnava Seva. Just if we somehow or other please Vaishnavas, Vaishnav Seva, just please Vaishnavas somehow or the other, surprisingly, we will receive Krishna's mercy, because Krishna's mercy follow the mercy of Vaishnava sadhus. Okay, remedies for sadhu ninda. Now, what do I do? Well, what do I do if I do sadhu ninda? He must fall at the sadhu's feet. This is a difficult one. This is a difficult one. So he must fall at the sadhu's feet and repent bitterly. Weeping, he must beg forgiveness. He should declare himself a fallen wretch in need of Vaishnava's grace. This requires humility. Usually false ego comes into picture, and false ego says, so what, that's okay, but Prabhu, your holy name will not be good. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with not chanting because um, this false ego comes into picture. Now it may be there, it may be there, I mean it is there somehow or other. If we if we can tolerate the lower nature of the ego, and if we can act based on inspiration from Paramatma, from our intellect, which is imbued with transcendental knowledge. If we don't act, now ego may say something, if we don't act on that platform, but if we submit ourselves, um, somehow or other, the goal is, if some sadhu is displeased with me, then whatever it takes for me to remove that sadhu's displeasure. I don't want to displease any sadhu. Sadhu does not mean a person who wears saffron cloth. Sadhu can be anybody who chants the holy name of Krishna is a sadhu. We discussed this. Who is a Vaishnava? And Mahaprabhu said, who once chant the holy name of Krishna is a Vaishnava. So sadhu ninda means, um, how can I remove the negativity that this sadhu has for me, so that this sadhu is pleased with me, and I can reawaken, re-establish, or gain back my 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 affection for Krishna. Whatever affection I have, I am cultivating. Whatever affection I have, I don't want to lose it. So a devotee should be very careful. So remedy for sadhu ninda is whatever it takes, and this is this certainly helps. If someone, um, now this may be difficult. This is something Haridas Thakur says, because he has utter humility, that fall down at sadhu's feet, repent bitterly, weeping. He must beg forgiveness and declare himself a fallen wretch. So, well, if you can do that, then you are a pure devotee. But if you cannot do that, at least you can go to a sadhu and say, um, Prabhuji, I'm sorry if I hurted you. Mataji, I'm sorry if I hurted you. At least we can do that. Um, and the Vaishnavas are so merciful, they'll forgive. They'll forgive. These three words itself, they will forgive. But sometimes we don't even want to say these three words, and we think that's okay. I will, I will somehow tolerate, and eventually I'll be back. But I will tolerate. So that should be avoided. So remedy for sadhu ninda. A sadhu is very merciful. His heart is will his heart will soften, and he will embrace the offender, thus relieving him from his offenses. A sadhu is very merciful. Um, um, Especially if somebody asks us forgiveness, then we should be very eager. We should become very pleased, and we should be very eager to forgive. If at all the other person has made any mistake, also we should be very eager to forgive. Um, 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 it should not be like, ideally it should not be like, somebody asks forgiveness and we think, why should I forgive? How can he do like that? How can he behave like that? Then we are little cruel. I mean, the other person is, um, taking a humble position. The other person is keeping his or her ego aside. The other person is approaching to you and begging forgiveness. The other person has gained so much strength to be able to take that step. After doing that, if we say, no, why, how can you do like that? How can you even think of that? If we use such words, then that is being very cruel. That is being lot of ego. So we should avoid that. A sadhu is one who forgives even before the offense happens. A sadhu forgives even before. See, when we take offense now, we are being cruel to that person. Why? If somebody does something to me and I don't like it, And if in my heart I want the other person to go through difficult times, then I am being very cruel to that person. Then that person will go through difficult times, um, um, so that thought, if I have, that the other person should go through difficult times, Krishna watches this thought in our heart, and Krishna becomes displeased by us. And when Krishna becomes displeased by our behavior, that I want somebody else to suffer, um, um, who is at loss? We are at loss. A sadhu never takes offense, yet offense happens. Now, suppose if I offend a devotee, and if the devotee is very merciful and he does not take an offense, still the offense will happen because Krishna takes an offense. Krishna takes an offense. Um, Recently, I was mentioning somewhere, I don't know where. Like one example is Maharaj Ambarish. Maharaj Ambarish and Durvasa Muni. Um, Not going into the story, but Durvasa Muni offended Maharaj Ambarish. Maharaj Ambarish was a pure devotee, and um, Durvasa Muni. He created a fire demon to burn Maharaj Ambarish, and um, Vishnu's chakra came and killed the fire demon, and the chakra started chasing Durvasa Muni to kill Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni started running, and Maharaj Ambarish was fasting actually, and he kept on fasting, thinking that nothing should happen to Durvasa Muni. Maharaj Ambarish was constantly praying for Durvasa Muni. He did not take any offense. Did not take any offense. Um, but Vishnu took offense, and Durvasa Muni has to suffer for the entire year. And Vishnu said, "Until you beg forgiveness from Maharaj Ambarish, and this chakra will kill you." So Durvasa Muni went and begged forgiveness. It almost took a year, and Maharaj Ambarish continued to fast for a year because he was thinking, "I have displeased my guest." There is no question of Maharaj Ambarish taking an offense. So that is a sign of a pure devotee. He does not take offense, but Vishnu takes offense when a devotee is offended. Another example is Nityananda Prabhu. Jagai and Madhai offended Nityananda Prabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very angry. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and called out Chakra, Chakra, Chakra. Immediately Sudarshan Chakra appeared in the hand of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya was about to release his Sudarshan Chakra to kill Jagai and Madhai. Nityananda Prabhu fell at the feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he said, "My Lord, in this incarnation, you have not come to kill, to use your chakra. You are not supposed to use your chakra. This is your mercy incarnation. Um, 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 in future, everybody will be like Jagai and Madhai. If you kill them, we have not come here to kill them. We have come here to deliver them. If anybody makes mistakes, we have come here to give them love of God for making the mistake. My Lord, please show your original nature." And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very angry. So although Nityananda Prabhu did not take any offense from Jagai and Madhai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the offense. Another example of Shivas Thakur and Gopal Chapala. I am sharing for those who know these stories. Those who don't know these stories, Nectar of Instruction, these stories will be discussed in detail also with respect to Sadhu Ninda comes in Nectar of Instructions also. So there was a story of Shivas Thakur and Gopal Chapala, and Gopal Chapala offended Shivas Thakur, because of which he contracted leprosy, a very deadly disease. And Shivas Thakur did not take any offense, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took offense. So the nature of a devotee is devotee does not take offense, but Krishna takes offense. Krishna takes offense. So a sadhu should always be merciful. Um, um, if See, a sadhu should be very compassionate. Even if somebody, a sadhu should be tolerant. If even if somebody comes and does something to us which is not good, we should try our best to pray for that person and to not let the other person go through any difficulty. Then that is daya, that is jiva daya, also part of jiva daya. We don't want because of me somebody should suffer. We don't want that. That's being cruel. So a sadhu is very merciful. His heart now, if now what a sadhu never takes offense. If he's taking offense, then he's not a pure sadhu, he's an aspiring sadhu. um, um, so a sadhu does not take offense. What to speak about if a devotee comes and humbles himself before the sadhu's heart is already soft, the sadhu's heart melt. The sadhu thinks, how can this devotee come and beg forgiveness? This devotee did not do anything to me. Although he may have done grave offense, still a sadhu thinks this devotee has not done anything to me. How can he taken how can why is he bowing down to me? The sadhu hearts soften, and that relief the offender from his offenses. When sadhu ninda happens, few things happens. First, one loses nam ruchi. One loses taste in the holy name. Second, material desires comes back. One starts all these memories, all the movies he has watched, all the sinful activities he has performed in the past. Everything becomes aggravated, and one 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 develops lot of material desires, and the whole life become very very disturbed, and the heart shakes up. The heart is like um, feels very unpleasant. So these are all signs of that or an offense has happened. um, um, and yeah, it's not a happy thing to go through the effect of sadhu ninda. So a devotee mostly is very careful not to commit sadhu ninda. Now coming to the second offense, to consider the names of demigod like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. These 10 offenses comes from Padma Puran. Uh, One who considers the demigods on the same level as Vishnu, as Krishna, he becomes an atheist. He is called an atheist. He becomes a Pashandi, and holy name takes an offense there. And again, it becomes difficult for that person to chant. Um, um, uh, Lord Krishna's transcendental position, more expansion on the second offense. He is a supreme absolute truth. He is not subjected to the laws of material world. He exists beyond the three modes of material nature. Even Shiva and Brahma comes under the three modes. They are affected by three modes. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is beyond the laws of material world. He is beyond the three modes. Like we see, Lord Shiva became attracted by Parvati. Kartikeya was born, and Brahma also became attracted to his own daughter. So there are instances in Brahma and Shiva's life also becoming attracted to the three modes. Um, um, but Lord Vishnu is always transcendental. So this is Krishna's transcendental position. Nobody other than Krishna and his incarnations are beyond three modes. All incarnations of Krishna are beyond three modes. Whether it is Vamana, Matsya, Buddha, all incarnations are beyond three modes. He is the Lord of the universe. He showed his own universal form. He possesses transcendental body and is in pure goodness. This pure goodness is not material goodness. This pure goodness is Haladini Shakti and knowledge potency and Dham potency altogether. That is pure goodness. And his body, he possesses transcendental body. His body never deteriorates. Brahma dies. Shiva merges back into Mahavishnu. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his body always remains as it is, completely transcendental. He is the master of Goloka. He is the essence and source of Vishnu. Scriptural quotes. Ekala Ishwar Krishna Ara Sabha Bhritya. Krishna is alone Ishwar. Ekala Ishwar Krishna Ara Sabha Bhritya. Bhritya means servant. Everybody else is servant. Everybody else servant of Krishna. Even Krishna's first expansion Balram or Vishnu or all incarnation of Krishna also serve Krishna. They're all servant of Krishna. What to speak about Shiva and Brahma? They're all servants of Krishna. And we see um, 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 pure devotees, they have a very affectionate relationship with Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva help devotees to take them to Krishna. So Lord Shiva is very eager to serve Krishna. There is pastime where Lord Shiva even participated in Madhurya Ras with Krishna. He wanted to serve Krishna in a Madhurya Ras. So our Sabhritya Vastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudradi, which basically means that Narayan is the supreme Deva, and Brahma Rudra, and rest all are servants of Narayan. Comparing the position of Narayan with Brahma, Rudra, Adi, and all other demigods. Yatha Taror Mula Nishe Chanena. Taror is um, um, tree, tree. Um, Yatho taror mula nisechanena. This verse is once Krishna is satisfied, all the demigods are satisfied. Just like when the root of the tree is satisfied, there is no need to water the leaves and twigs and branches. Likewise, a person who is serving Krishna, he does not need to serve Brahma, Shiva, Adi, any other demigods. Um, um, because if you water the root, all other um, branches, twigs, it's are nourished. Now, naturally, as we chant the holy name, the faith will grow. Once faith grows, then these realizations will be theirs. These are just scriptural references to commemorate these um, this point, that alone Krishna is meant to be served by Bhur Bhuraswas, by all the three lokas. Krishna is meant to be served, and once Krishna is served, Shiva becomes very pleased. And there are many instances where devotees like Prachetas, they were serving Narayan, and Lord Shiva became very ecstatic, and he came to give his association and take association of Prachetas, and he sang a song of how he glorifies Narayan every day. So there is a chapter in Shrimad Bhagavatam, third or fourth canto, I don't remember, song sung by Lord Shiva. That is his own prayer to um, um, Narayan in the form of Sankarshan. How he serves, how he serves, and how he wants to serve. So everybody becomes very happy, just like um, just like a true devotee. A true devotee becomes very happy when he sees somebody serving Krishna, like um, when Prabhupada would see the disciples are chanting very nicely, Prabhupada was very pleased. So a true devotee likes to see others serving Krishna. He does not want anything for himself. His pleasure, somebody goes and give prasadam and glorifies, or give nice dhoti and kurta or chadar and shawl, or um, pay a lot of respects to Prabhupada. These things never please Prabhupada. But if somebody goes and says, Prabhupada, I'm chanting 16 rounds, I'm grateful, I am relishing relationship with Krishna, that would give lot of pleasure to Krishna, to Prabhupada. So what pleases a devotee is service to Krishna. He's very pleased. Likewise, Lord Shiva and Brahma Adi, when they see this person is deriving nourishment from serving Krishna, they become very pleased with that person. Instead of, all those demons who worship Lord Shiva, I don't want to die, I want to kill Vishnu. Shiva is disgusted. disgusted. Anybody's head I touch, he should fall into ground, he should die. Shiva is like, eh, thu. So this is Shiva's, I mean, Shiva is a pure Vaishnava. Vaishnavayan Mritha Shambhu. Shiva personally goes to associate with those who worship Krishna. Personally goes. He wants to be around those people. And then there are so many people who are demoniac people and who have many material desires and they worship Shiva. What about my wealth? What about this? What about this? Shiva is disgusted with those people. But then he's Ashutosh. He's easily pleased and he's duty bound. He's duty bound that he's also a maintainer. So anybody who wants anything in this material world, material benefit, all material benefit are under her wife's control, Durga Devi control the three moods. So Shiva is the husband, so Shiva can fulfill everybody material desires. So people ask material desires, Shiva goes, he has duty, he fulfill those desires, give them benediction, but he doesn't want to associate with them, he doesn't love them, but he loves devotees, the pure Ebejas Gushuk Tribhuvana, the pure devotees, he want to associate with them. So comparing or thinking Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal level to Lord Vishnu, this becomes an offense to the holy name. This is the second offense. Krishna has 64 qualities, Vishnu has 60 qualities, Shiva has 55 qualities, and Brahma or Jiva has 50 qualities. Let me turn on my light. So Krishna has 60 qualities. So there are four qualities of Krishna that even Narayan, Vishnu doesn't have. They are Roop Madhurya, Leela Madhurya, Venu Madhurya, and Roop Madhurya is the beauty of Krishna. Even Narayan does not have the beauty that Krishna has. Krishna's beauty is simply exotic. Um, and Krishna says everything that is beautiful emanates from me. So that is called Roop Madhurya. There are 64 qualities that Krishna has in full. One is Roop Madhurya, one is Leela Madhurya. Um, Leela Madhurya is the pastimes of Krishna are supremely attractive. Those pastimes even Lord Vishnu does not perform. The pastime with the Gopas, the pastime with the Gopis, those loving exchanges at different times of the day, that even Narayan does not have those pastimes. So this is called Leela Madhurya. Then there is Venu Madhurya, the sweetness of Krishna's flute. Krishna plays his flute, and what all happens, maybe sometime in future we can discuss Venu Geet. What happens when Krishna plays flute? Lot of things happens. Lot of things happens when Krishna plays flute. Lot of things happen when Krishna plays flute. Uh, and that quality is not there in Narayan. Um, 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 and then there is Prema Madhurya. Prema Madhurya is the prem that devotees have for Krishna. The devotees of Narayan does not have for Narayan. Like the prem of the gopis and the prem of the gopas. The love that they have for Krishna, Lord Narayan associates does not have. Because the rasas are higher. Um, there are five rasas. You may have heard. There is Santa ras, neutrality. There is Dasya ras, servitorship. There is Sakhya ras, friendship. There is Vatsalya ras, which is like a parent, and then there is Madhurya ras, which is like the love between, like just like a love between a young boy and a young girl. So all these five rasas exist with Krishna. With Narayan, Sakhya ras is not there, Vatsalya ras is not there, and Madhurya ras is not there. Madhurya ras only Lakshmi Devi, always at the feet of Vishnu. Madhurya, real Madhurya ras doesn't exist. Um, Vatsalyaras, he does not have parents. If somebody wants to serve Krishna like a child, they can serve. They can become elder gopas and gopis. So that the Vatsalyaras doesn't exist with Vishnu. And Sakyaras, Lord Vishnu does not have a friend. Everybody in Vaikuntha planet is a servant. But Krishna has all these relationship. So Prem Madhurya, Venu Madhurya, the sweetness of his flute, the sweetness of the love, the sweetness of the Leelas of Krishna, the Leelas of Krishna, um, and the sweetness of his beauty. These are four additional qualities that even Narayan does not have. And then there are five qualities that Narayan had that Shiva does not have. I don't remember all of them, but just like Narayan is Paramatma in everyone's heart, Shiva is not. Narayan is, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am seated in the heart of every living entity. Through his Vishnu feature, he is seated in the heart of every living entity. Shiva is not. Narayan gives, remembrance, forgetfulness, and all the inspiration. Everything comes from Lord Vishnu, who is sitting in our heart. Then Narayan can give liberation. Shiva cannot. Shiva cannot give liberation. Narayan is the source of creation. Shiva is not. From Narayan's body, all the universes emanates. Shiva does not have such functionality. He is a part of creation. He is created through Narayan, but all the universes are itself created by Vishnu. So creation. So these are three. Like that, there are two more. So these are some of the qualities that Narayan has that even Shiva does not have. And then qualities that Shiva has that a living entity does not have. Shiva is all pervading. Shiva can see what is happening. He is not in the heart of every living entity as Paramatma, but he's all pervading. He knows somebody is praying to me. Um, and yeah, there are many such things that Shiva can do that a jiva cannot do. These all these details are there in scriptures. So one who considers the name of Krishna or name of Narayan on the same level as name of Shiva and Brahma, he becomes an offender to the holy name. So this is the second offense. Analogy: the Purusha avatar and the Jivas, among which are the demigods, obtain their qualities from Krishna. Uh, in the same way as an electric bulb receives its energy from power station. So whether it is Purusha avatar is Vishnu Tattva, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay, Shirodakshay, Vishnu, the living entities, the demigods like Brahma and Shiva obtain their qualities from Krishna. Just like the bulb, electric bulb, receives its power from energy from power station. Likewise, everybody, whatever qualities they have, whatever they can do, everything comes from Krishna. And Krishna says, among Rudra, I am Shiva, means all the qualities that Shiva has. Krishna says that comes from me. Among Rudra, I am Shiva. Among demigods, I am Brahma. Among Nara, I am the king. Among Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Among this. So, this is 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, where Krishna himself says, this is not theory, where Krishna himself says, whether it is Brahma, Shiva, Rudra, Jiva, Arjuna, you, the king, whatever potencies they have, that comes from me. Just like whatever energy the light bulb has comes from the power source. The light bulb is also a source of light. It can illuminate, but it is not as powerful as the power source itself. Likewise, whatever empowerment anyone has comes from Krishna, but no one can be compared to Krishna. So to compare those living entities who are empowered by Krishna to be on the same level of Krishna, that becomes an offense to the holy name. Difference between Krishna's names and other names: Krishna's name is identical with Krishna himself. This fact is not applicable to demigods or lower living entities. Abhinna nama namitvam. We heard this before. If you say Shamananda, then the same Shamananda does not contain Shamananda Krishna. um, um, But yeah, Shamananda is the name of Radharani. So Radharani is there in that name, so that is very good. um, 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 So Krishna's name is identical with Krishna himself. So this is another difference between Krishna's name. So to consider that the name of Krishna is on the same level as the name of Brahma and Shiva becomes an offense. So how can second offense be rectified? By repenting seriously. If we have considered them on the same level, some people say Brahma, Shiva, Krishna all same na Prabhuji. Then by saying that statement they become an offender, and then they become disqualified to absorb in Krishna's name. By repenting sincerely, taking shelter of the holy name, and by never committing this offense again, one can overcome the second offense. This is all from Brahmanda section of Padma Puran. Then third offense is to disobey the orders of spiritual master. The spiritual master gives the holy name. Sampradaya vihina ye mantraste nishvala mataha. um, which means if one is actually connected with a bona fide disciplic succession, whatever mantras he chants, if one is not actually connected with the bona fide disciplic succession, whatever mantras he chant will not bring the desired results. Even if we chant the proper mantra, but sampradaya vihina ye. But if we are not connected to the sampradaya, what are the sampradayas? There is Brahma sampradaya, there is Rudra sampradaya, there is Shri Sampradaya, and there is Kumar Sampradaya. These are four Sampradayas mentioned in Padma Puran. Um, so anyone who does not receive who receives a mantra not from one of these four Sampradayas but anywhere else, that mantra will have no power. Jayapataka Maharaj once came and he said, any mantra we chant other than what is spoken by these sampradayas, those mantras will not have the power. So one is not one if one is not actually connected with a bona fide disciplic succession, whatever mantras he chants will not bring the desired results. Many names of Krishna, all names are powerful, but the mantra has to come from sampradaya. Like ISKCON comes under Brahma Sampradaya, and they chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sri Sampradaya chants Ulta, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rudra Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya, they also have their own Krishna mantras. Like one of them chants Shri Krishna Smarana Mama, like that. So they have different mantras. The means is mantra only because kalau tadhari kirtanat. In Kali Yuga, the means is holy name. All these four sampradayas, anywhere you get connected, you are ultimately going to get the holy name only. Um, and this holy name, if you get it from a bona fide sampradaya, that will deliver you. Um, उद्धार हो जाएगा आप लोगों का. That will deliver you. Okay, so the position of spiritual master gives the name Guru. Guru gives the holy name. Sri Prabhupada writes, a spiritual master always represents himself as the humblest servitor of the personality of Godhead, but the disciple must look upon him as the manifested representation of Godhead. To envy such an acharya is to envy the personality of Godhead himself. Means from one whom we receive the mantra, to find fault and to become envious of that same spiritual master, then one becomes an offender to Krishna. Then again, Nam Prabhu becomes displeased and Nam Prabhu does not dance. So one should not become envious. Like one time, Srila Prabhupada said, we have envy, at least don't become envious to your spiritual master who is giving you the holy name, who has given you the holy name. Um, a spiritual master always acts as a humble servant of Krishna. But one must not think one spiritual master as a humble servant. One should think one spiritual master as very dear to Krishna. And one should respect one spiritual master just like Krishna. Just like Krishna means one should respect him in high regards. Um, m- um, one should see him as representative of Krishna, and one should not be envious. So, okay, let's continue on this subject more. The characteristic of a spiritual master: lot of colors. He knows the signs of Krishna. Um, Prabhupada says one who knows the signs of Krishna is qualified to become the spiritual master. Oh, okay. He knows the signs of Krishna. He can control the six urges. I just noted it's 6:25. So with this one we will end. He knows the signs of Krishna. He can control the six urges. Um, the six urges are: urge of the tongue to eat items not offered to Krishna. Tongue has an urge. If it is not offered, that's okay. Let me eat. The urge of the tongue, the urge of anger. The spiritual master is one who can control the urge of anger. um, the urge of the mind has unrestricted attachments, and the mind wants to fulfill those attachments. So the urge of the mind, then the urge of the belly, even though we are full, um, the belly wants to eat more, and stuff more in. The urge of the genitals, which is unrestricted sex life when it is not required, still engaging in those acts. Urge of the genitals, urge of the mind, urge of the anger, urge of the belly, urge of the tongue, and which is the sixth one? Anyone remember the sixth urge? The urge to speak. A sober person can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, the urges of tongue, urges of belly, urges of genital. He is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So these are the six urges. The urge to speak. When it's not required to speak, he likes to speak. And then the person who likes to speak more, he will commit more offenses. So best is if you speak less. If you speak less. Prabhupada says the greatness of a personality can be known when he speaks. Otherwise, you cannot know the greatness of a personality. By seeing, you cannot know the greatness of personality. You can know the greatness of personality when he speaks. Because when he speaks only about Krishna. He does not do any prajalpa. He does not speak anything not related to Krishna. Rather, he prefers to stay quiet all the time. But when he speaks about Krishna. And Prabhupada says a silent person can look very intelligent also, but sometimes he speaks and all foolishness comes out. Then you can know that also. So, the greatness of a person can also be known by one who speaks when he speaks. So, this is the urge to speak, the mind unrestricted desires, unrestricted attachments, the to check the urge of anger, to check the urge of belly, the urge of genitals, and the urge of tongue. Tongue, which is to eat. So he can control, one of the characteristic of spiritual master, he can control these six urges. Then, whether a Brahmana, Shudra, householder, or a sannyasi, he is able to liberate the living entity from the cycle of birth and death. And we see Srimad Bhagavatam says one should not become a guru if one cannot take one's disciple back home, back to Godhead. One should not become a guru. One should not become a father if he cannot deliver the son. One should not become a husband if he cannot deliver the wife. One should not become a mother if she cannot deliver her child. So likewise, one should not take a position of an authority unless one can guide one's dependent back home, back to Godhead, back home. Ideally, in Vedic culture, the husband would receive instruction from spiritual master. The spiritual master does not deal with the wife in the Vedic culture. Never that happens. The husband deals directly with the husband. The spiritual master deals only with the husband. It is husband's duty to give the spiritual instruction to the wife. The husband is supposed to lead the family. The husband is supposed to practice Krishna consciousness, and the wife is supposed to serve and supposed to follow the husband. The wife is supposed to support the husband, and that is a very, very, very Vedic family life. Very Vedic family life. Um, should not be like wife becomes the leader. Ideally husband should lead the family, husband should take instruction from spiritual master, and wife should serve the husband. That is Vedic culture. And if wife supports and serves the husband, then wife will follow the same destination as the husband. Whatever religion husband follows, wife should follow that. Wife should not act, I mean, please don't feel bad, but I must propagate the Vedic culture. Wife should simply follow the husband. That is in the favor of the wife. Okay, so this is a spiritual master. If there is some more, okay, let me finish this particular spiritual master topic. He has realized the conclusion of the scriptures and can convey them to others. So spiritual master knows the shastras. He knows the scriptures. So if the disciples have confusion questions, then the spiritual master should be able to eradicate those doubts on the basis of scriptures. Not just saying, no, no, Prabhu, this is right. No, why this is right, where it is written this is right. So he should be able to, he should have realized the conclusion of scriptures. Prabhupada said you should know Bhagavad Gita just like a law book. Like a law book, you don't just say he should be punished like this, but you should say according to law code 1.5 dot something, it says like this, based on this law he should be punished. So just like a lawyer knows the law book perfectly well and he can quote, and that is an authenticated lawyer, not just saying anything. So then only there's a whole degree to become a lawyer. So he should, Prabhupada said, you should know Bhagavad Gita just like a lawyer. You should know what is where, and then only um, you can convey the conclusion of those scriptures. So he should be able to convey them to others. He is firmly fixed in devotional service, Brahmanishta. He is himself fixed in devotional service. So many people want to become spiritual master, but Jayadvit Maharaj says today everybody likes to become spiritual master. So he should be firmly fixed in devotional service. What does a spiritual master do 24 hours a day? You can see that. You will see he is 100% engaged in Krishna service and firmly situated in spiritual life. So, not that spiritual master has a private life or he has a life that nobody knows. Not like that. He should be as transparent, and everybody should know how the spiritual master is 10% always engaged in devotional service, and he has the conclusion of scriptures he can convey to others, and he himself should practice. Why people have lost faith in sadhus? Because they have double life. They like to give spiritual instructions, and then they have a private life in their private chambers which nobody knows, and they sometimes drink and smoke also. So when the behavior of a sadhu does not match with conclusion of scriptures, his words have no value. And because of Kali Yoga effect, and there are so many increase in such cases that people have no faith in sadhu. Srila Prabhupada used to say, I have no faith in sadhus, because in the beginning days, so many sadhus would come. Prabhupada's father would invite sadhus every single day and he would feed them, but then they would do something nonsense. So Prabhupada lost faith on sadhus. But when Prabhupada first time met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada was convinced he is my spiritual master because he was genuine sadhu. Genuine sadhu is Brahmanishta. He himself should be engaged in devotional service and firmly situated in spiritual life. He induces others to give up material life and begin with spiritual life. If the sadhu, if the spiritual master himself have a material life, his words will have no potency, that don't act on material desires. He cannot even speak. We cannot speak to others what we don't have, what we don't practice. If we speak, it will simply agitate the other person. If you say something that you don't practice, you will not have the strength to say it. If you don't get up early in the morning and chant 16 rounds, when you speak to others and give Krishna to them, you can never say them ki get up early in the morning and chant 60 rounds. Why? Because you don't follow it. If you don't attend Mangal Aarti, if anything you don't do, you can never tell to anybody. If you tell, it will be completely empty. So a, a spiritual master, first he should follow his own words. He should follow his own talks, and his talk says conclusion of scriptures. He should follow what he says, and then he can induce people to not be so attached to material life and to take up spiritual life. He himself should show it by his example. Then he will have the potency to communicate that message. He is an acharya, teaches by his own example. My spiritual master says, always preach, if necessary speak. Means speak less, show more. You practice devotional service as sincerely as you can. You chant, you read, you serve, you do the best you can to engage in Krishna consciousness. And that is the best preaching. That is the best preaching. Because when others see this person, all he does is this, and he's very happy, he's very satisfied doing it, then everybody will understand that there is value in this. There is stuff here. It's not empty ghada, khali gana baje gana, something like that. He's not. He has stuff. Why? Because he's practicing it. He's showing by his own example that there is divinity here. That will convince more than just the words, so he's an acharya, the spiritual master. He teaches by his own example. uh, how to serve the spiritual master. I have great eagerness to do more, but I will stop here and we'll discuss more about this topic of spiritual master next week. Okay. Are there any question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have one question, Prabhu.
Yes, Srinivas.
This question regarding spiritual master,
Okay.
are there, I mean, is if someone initiated, they only have spiritual masters, or others also can have?
Well, others can aspire, Prabhu. They can aspire from a spiritual master. Um, um, and over period of time, they will have also. When we start aspiring for a spiritual master, then uh, um, it's as good as having one. As good as having one.
Thank you.
Is that all right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay. Any other question? I think we miss Kundan Prabhu today. And I think we don't have Sucheta Mataji also. Okay. Okay. So I will end here. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpa tarubhasya kripa sindhubhe evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
pranam.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
bro.
much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.